Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update on Digibyte, some of the things that I'm looking at. Right now we're up 1.56%. And also guys, I wanted to apologize if you hear some rain in the background. We really have a big rainstorm happening right now, so just bear with me. I'm sure you're going to hear some of that, but that's what that is. So, you know guys, with Digibyte here, what I do like is that we're finding support off that 0.5. Remember this retracement that we've been looking at for quite a while now. If you go back and look at those past Digibyte videos I've done, we talked about this nice run, but once we started to see these really long wicks and the rejection at the 200, we talked about this nice pullback potentially to that 0.5 or that 0.618 before we get a bounce to potentially try to come back up here again and test this 200-day moving average. So right now, things are looking pretty good. We're finding support off that 0.5 Fibonacci level, and we can see a couple times we've been wicked down through it, and we also wicked down to this 50 moving average, which we treated as support for right now, so that's great. The problem is we do have this green here. This is our 20-day moving average, and throughout this entire move we've been up above it until we finally crossed below it right here, and now it's been acting as overhead resistance. So what we're finding is we're in a very tight spot. We're between this 0.5, this 0.382. We're between or below this 20 EMA, but we're up above this 50 moving average. So right here, guys, we potentially could travel sideways for a while, but we're either going to be breaking up or we're going to be breaking down here in the future, okay? And the reason why I say that is, do you see these days now? We're looking about 6 days of just sideways movement here. And what happens is you'll have that sideways movement, you'll consolidate for a while, and then you'll have that break to the upside or the downside, and that's when you want to play it. So if we break to the upside, we start closing up above this 20 EMA, then what you would want to do is look to around this 0.236. A lot of the times if you have a 0.618 retracement, it will go to the 0.382. If you have a 50, it will a lot of times go up to the 0.236. Now say we did bounce up to this 0.236, look for some profit taking here, guys. There's potentially some profit taking that will take place. Now, if it's on significant volume, this may be the shot to come up here and try to get over this 200-day moving average, but we're not there yet. We're still at the point of waiting for the break. Are we going to break down through this 0.5, or are we going to break up through that 0.382? So we're at a crucial spot for Digibyte right now, but we have been in this intermediate term uptrend. So what you would think here is this would be a move here, and then we'd have this nice pullback, and then we'll try to continue higher. So higher highs and higher lows. So if this is our higher low here of this move, that would be great. Now we would need to come up here and make a higher high, but obviously that's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of effort by Digibyte, and we're going to need a lot of volume. Okay, so I'm going to get the Fibonacci off the screen for us here, and if you guys could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you like these Digibyte videos. We're trying for 100 likes on these videos, and we're just going to keep rolling for you and do the best we can. So, you know, guys, just keep your eye greatly on this 20 EMA. I can't stress that enough, especially when we've held it as support for quite a while. Once it starts to act as overhead resistance, it can get strong. You've seen it like in this area here, how each time we try to wick up through and then we just fall back down until we finally got up above it. And throughout this whole bear market here, we've just been ridden by that 20 EMA. So I love the 20 EMA. I think it's one that you really need to have on your charting tools here in TradingView. I love to use the 20 EMA. I like the 50 moving average. I like the 100 moving average and the 200-day moving average, and what that gives me is the short-term as well as the long-term movements of this market. So with the RSI, we're also at that neutral spot here. We're at 48, and what happened was we found support. Do you see this red line here? So the last move, when we had this move up here, we came down here, found support at this area around 42, then we made another move up and we were traveling sideways. We came back down to around that 43 or so, came back up, came back down. Now what we want to see is if we keep treating this as support, that $48. See if we're going to move to the upside or if we're going to break down through it. If we break down through it, I would probably look to this area right here around 33 on the RSI to find support. All right, so that's the RSI. The next thing we're going to look at is the MACD. All right. So with the MACD, guys, right now it is in the bearish category. Right now it's just a little more bearish to neutral. You can see it's starting to try to flip over, wanting to get to that neutral territory, but right now we did have the bearish cross and we're still opened up. We haven't got that big hook yet. So right now the MACD, we're definitely more neutral to bearish. All right, next thing I want to check is our Bollinger Band, see if those are tightening up on us for a break. And that's what I love to use the Bollinger Bands for, just see how overextended we are in different areas, things like that. So right now we're actually below the middle band, which will act as overhead resistance for now, along with this 20 EMA. All right, but we're nearer to the bottom part of this band than we are the top. So if anything, right now, a lot of the times you see this hammer candle that came in, or doji candle, it's hard to see that top wick there. But you see how it basically wicked off that bottom and people were buying at the bottom of that Bollinger Bands, and then it got pushed back up. Just like people, once we got out of these Bollinger Bands, they started to sell off. So Bollinger Bands are something I like to use for a break, and I like to see when we get very overextended to the upside or the downside is something that I look at. Next one, let's check out our stock. RSI, and all these are our oscillators, and it's really important to look at your oscillators and see what's happening. Now, in terms of the oscillators, we're really low right now, guys. We are getting a bearish cross down here towards the bottom, but we're very low. We're at 7 and 10, so we're in that oversold category right now in terms of the stock RSI. So, guys, from everything that I'm looking at with Digibyte right now, I'm waiting. I'm patiently waiting. We're in that neutral area. We want to see if we're going to get that move to the upside or if we're going to continue to the downside for more of a retracement. All right. Now, the beautiful thing, though, is if Digibyte can obviously get over these highs here and get over this 200-day moving average, there's a lot of room to run because this fell so hard and so fast, guys, and you'll see it made up on the backside. But the key is getting over this 200-day moving average. And as you can see, we have not been up above that for Digibyte, so this was the first time we were rejected even in quite a while. But with Digibyte, guys, we've went up above it a few times, and we came back down, went up above it, we came back down, then we were trapped underneath it. So we have still not been up over top of it since September 2018. We had a little wick through it. So you think about how long this has been that we've been trapped underneath it. So we're really going to need a lot of volume. We're going to need a lot of power to be able to get up through that 200-day moving average, close on top of that 200-day moving average, and start treating it as support the way that we did over here. People were buying at that 200-day moving average. Then we broke down through it. We had a rounded bottom. We came up and we really gapped away hard from it. Whenever you gap away hard from it, expect that pullback to come, to where a lot of times you'll pull back onto that, and then you'll try to see if you can find that as support. But that's something I'm paying very close attention to. You know, we were trapped under this 100-day for quite a long time too, and now we're up above that, guys. Same with the 50, and we're up above that, but now we're starting to get trapped by the 20 EMA a little bit. So in terms of Digibyte, I'm being patient right now. I want to see what happens. I want to see if we're going to break to that upside or if we're going to break to that downside. Those are the key factors. And guys, what I can tell you is in trading, you really want to be patient. Now, in terms, remember, I'm not your financial advisor, but in terms of a long-term hold where we're at in Digibyte at 0.012, guys, that's a phenomenal spot. If you look at this, this is a great time to accumulate for the long term. All right, so I'm not saying trading where you're trading back and forth and trying to earn more. If you're saying, hey, I'm buying and I want to hold these till basically the top of the next bull run, look where you're buying these at in comparison to where we've been before, even here before, here before, here before. And Digibyte is a really good project as well, in my opinion. So, you know, guys, you can't really go wrong long-term investing in Digibyte down here at this area. You know, we've dropped so hard and so fast. We were up to around 14 cents at one point. We're down to one cent. So, you know, keep that in the back of your mind and really pay attention to, you know, all the different things that take place with Digibyte in terms of the fundamentals you want to really check out and pay close attention to, and obviously the price action on these type of charts like this. Okay, so the next thing I want to dig into real quick is just the week. I want to see if anything crazy is happening on the week. One good thing I see right off the bat here, guys, and I just planned on going to the day, but let's get into the week a little bit here. So this is just freestyling with you a little bit and pointing out some of the things I see. So after this big pump and we had those tweezer tops, we had that sell-off down into this rounded bottom. Do you see that? And guys, what we did, we basically found support on that 50 moving average and then blasted up from that rounded bottom. And now look what you see here. You're starting to see that rounded bottom again. But we're going to have to see if we can get up above that 20 EMA first, because we do have a death cross that's taking place. We have our 20 EMA that's death crossing over top of our 100 moving average right now, and also our 50 that's kind of kissing with this 100-day moving average. And that's something you want to keep in your back pocket as well, because those death crosses, the shorter term moving underneath that longer term, is a sign of weakness a lot of times. And also when you see tweezer tops, guys, you see how effective this is. Tweezer tops here, we drop down. Tweezer tops here, we drop down. We basically had them here, we drop down. And these are the things that I like to look at so that I can say in the future, all right, if I see some big tweezer tops, and definitely when we've spiked up like that, you better take your profits. Okay, because think if you even take profits around in here, you're buying down in here, you take profits up in here, and then you wait, guys. Think how many more you can buy back in this area. You know, it's not saying that you have to give up Digibyte for the long term, but if you want to sell up here, think how many more you could buy back with the money that you sold here, and then wait for that next market cycle to continue on. So that's what I like to do, guys. That's what I'm thinking about. Just want to bring you a quick little Digibyte update right now. I'm a little more neutral, just waiting to see what happens. That's kind of my stance on it right now. So if you guys could like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you like what we do here. God bless each and every one of you, my friends. Have a wonderful Saturday night.